All right, guys. Well, up next, we have to talk about the Biden administration's apparent latest step to try to enforce censorship on the American people. We've already talked to you multiple times in the past about their efforts to censor all of us on social media, multiple tech platforms in that discussion. Now we have to look at Amazon, where it seems they've been working to censor books. Just when you think it can't get worse, it absolutely does. I want to turn your attention to a recent thread on X, formerly Twitter, by Representative Jim Jordan, who's a Republican, and he titled it The Amazon Files. He is the same representative who formerly brought you the Facebook files and the Twitter files. And he says the internal docs subpoenaed by the Judiciary GOP Committee and the Weaponization Committee indicate that Amazon bowed down to the Biden White House pressure to censor books. And then he has several screenshots, which we will put into the video version, but he says never before released internal emails subpoenaed by the Judiciary Committee reveal that the Biden White House pressured Amazon to censor books that express views the White House did not approve of. In the email, you can see a quote from somebody who works with Amazon that says, "Is the Biden administration asking us to remove books?" Andy Slavitt, who's a name that should sound familiar to you from our other censorship stories. He's a senior Biden White House official who demanded that Facebook censor a meme and very true information around COVID, was pressuring Amazon at the same time. On March 2nd of 2021, Slavitt fired off an email demanding to know who he and his White House colleagues could talk to at the company about the, quote, high levels of propaganda and misinformation and disinformation on Amazon. How did the Biden White House conclude that there was propaganda and misinformation in books sold on Amazon's bookstore? The White House ran keyword searches for controversial topics such as vaccine and emailed Amazon when it didn't like how the search results appeared. Initially, Amazon decided to hold off on doing a manual intervention to censor books. Why? Not out of any commitment to free speech, but because doing so would be too visible to the American public and likely to spur criticism from conservative media. Great. This is so bad already. Why was the Biden White House so upset with Amazon? Because Amazon believed retailers are different than social media communities and provided their customers with access to a variety of viewpoints. For the Biden administration, letting Americans think for themselves was simply unacceptable. A week later, on March 9th, 2021, Amazon met with the White House. Internal Amazon documents reveal Amazon's top talking points going into the meeting. One of the key questions was whether the Biden White House wanted books banned or just buried deep in the search results. I think they're equally problematic to me, Brad. What do you think?
I think both are pretty bad. Both sound that good to me.
These companies make me mad because I do understand that they're facing, regulation, antitrust, all kinds of pressure, but you have billions of dollars. You have some of those famous, powerful people in the world that are running your company. The fact that you would not just come out, ring the alarm, and turn this on its head, turn the American people against them, rile people up, go to conservative media. Why are you just concerned conservative media will call you out? Why aren't you relying on the media to help you blow the whistle on this and bury these people?
I mean, if they had any spine, they would just say to the White House, sorry, we don't discuss what books we select with the government.
I can't think of anything that would be better for your business than standing up to this administration in that way. It would be incredibly popular. People would think you were heroic.
They wouldn't have to do it in a way that aligns them with Republicans or anything, because obviously they don't want to become political, but they could just completely shut it down. Why are they meeting with them at all? They don't have to do that. Why are they answering their emails at all? They don't have to do that. Now, the White House has a tremendous bully pulpit, and so they obviously feel a lot of pressure. But, I mean, to me, the outcome here, we haven't got to that yet, but regardless, it just seems like just such a wildly inappropriate thing for the official mantle of the White House to be used to bludgeon companies into downplaying, downvoting, or removing books that they dislike. And what is this notion that books, how dare a bookseller have misinformation? What? They're books. It's a bookstore. What are you going to say? You can't sell the Bible because there's things in it that aren't true, right? Or vice versa. Literally, that's kind of the whole point of books, is that they have all sorts of opinions and perspectives and arguments and knowledge, not just the ones that the government thinks are true. There's something Orwellian about this.
Yeah, we need better business leaders. I feel like we used to have them. I mean, really, I don't know if you saw the tech hearing last week that the
Oh, it
Senate
was a
Judiciary
joke.
did. Oh, guys, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It was the biggest clown car show I've ever seen in my life. And a lot of the senators made themselves look like absolute hacks in trying to like come in and just be blowhards over issues where they basically want to control the tech companies. But what was so maddening to watch it is how deferential all the tech CEOs were to them. Like they would be asking them the most banal, stupid questions, and they would present them with information showing like, we're already doing these things, and had all the facts and like arguments were on their side, and yet they would just cower to them, and they would say, well, you support this legislation that was like a terrible piece of legislation, and always that would get rid of Section 230 and like have tons more government regulation. And instead of being like, no, your bill is trash and you're anti-capitalist and you're buffoons, they were all like, we're not prepared to say at this time. Like, I mean, come on, people. Somebody's got to stand up at some point. And I feel like this is in that same line. You know, it's just really disgusting to watch people cower like this. Anyways, back to Jim Jordan's thread. He says on March 2nd, 2021, Amazon determined internally that it would not be doing a manual intervention today. The online bookstore set a meeting with senior Biden White House officials for March 9th of 2021. What was the purpose of this meeting with the Biden White House? To see if the administration is asking us to remove books or if they are more concerned about search results, order, or both. So they're still just trying to play ball with them. Why did Amazon agree to take the meeting? They said because they were, quote, feeling pressure from the White House. After the White House spent a week berating Amazon, what did the online bookstore do? On March 9th, the same day as its meeting with the White House, Amazon enabled a do not promote for books that expressed the view that vaccines were not effective. And that wasn't all. Amazon also considered other ways to, quote, reduce the visibility of certain books that the Biden White House disliked. Amazon caved to the pressure from the Biden White House to censor speech, and he says to be continued. Now, our favorite friends over at the FIRE organization, they're the free speech giant these days. They have responded to this. They quote tweeted Jim Jordan, and they said, first social media, now one of the world's largest online booksellers. If accurate, these new documents are yet another disturbing example of government pressure on private actors to suppress disfavored views. Woof. I mean, it's really getting bleak out there. I really do. I feel like sometimes it seems like we're being hyperbolic, but across the left and right, the number of threats against free speech, it's just growing and growing and growing. And I really am concerned with where we end up. And I'm even more concerned because, you know, I read a lot of comments. I see the reaction to a lot of the content that we make talking about these subjects. And a fair number of people are rightfully concerned and outraged. But too many people are sort of fine with this. You know, they're okay with it. They want to see a world where views they don't like are suppressed. And so it makes me feel very pessimistic for the future.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And it is really disheartening. Unfortunately, this isn't remotely surprising. This is extremely similar to what we saw with the Twitter files and the Facebook files. We know that the federal government is doing this. And I think it's not going to stop until we have kind of a bright red line drawn between government and private censorship, right? We really need some sort of rule or regulation that says the government cannot contact private companies to request takedowns of material that is protected by the First Amendment. I think we all agree that it is appropriate and fine for the government to contact Facebook to take down child sexual exploitation material or terrorist videos or something that is unlawful, right? But things that are within the bounds of legality, that are free speech, that are protected by the First Amendment, the government has no business pressuring companies to silence them. And I don't know if the proper remedy of that is going to be through the courts or if there's some sort of legislation or rule that needs to be imposed.
Rand Paul has a bill, right, that would do that?
Yeah, I think he does have something to that effect. Yeah. But also it could come from a Supreme Court ruling if they do it on First Amendment grounds. I don't know. I don't know the exact avenue or pathway, but nobody should want this. Even if you are somebody who agrees with the Biden administration, ask yourself, would you want the Trump administration to have this power or the next Republican that has the White House to be pressuring companies to remove liberal books or liberal memes or other things? It's like you always have to think about what's going to happen when the shoe is on the other foot. And anybody who gets on board with this, whether it's, to stop the right-wing misinformation or to own the libs, either way is being incredibly short-sighted. Your side's not always going to have power. And when you lose power and the other side has power, you will live to regret, deeply regret the fact that you compromised on these basic principles.